So much to talk about in 49ers land after that win over the Rams, downtown Truckee. Good spot to do it. Brock Purdy and Nick Bosa, way too much hand-wringing about these two prominent 49ers players. In the case of Brock Purdy, first of all, I have to realize that he was on the aggregate, again, very efficient. So you have this amazing story of a quarterback who stepped in last year with supreme efficiency, and he's continuing it this year, and the 49ers are 2-0. That you have so many people hand-wringing over, 3 missed throws downfield? Even though, again, he was far more efficient than Matthew Stafford on the aggregate yesterday, and Stafford was good for the majority of that game. So, I mean, Kyle Shanahan said it best in the case of Brock Purdy. He explained that one of the deep shots that he missed, it was actually surprised that Purdy took the chance. The fact that Purdy here is a second-year QB with not even a full year of starting experience under his belt is taking some of these aggressive shots, that's a win in and of itself. He's got enough confidence in how he's running the offense to be able to start pulling the trigger on some of these knockout blows. And yeah, yesterday he didn't hit. But, I mean, it leads us to another narrative that's been shot down, and that's he was overthrowing those deep shots. There was too much mustard on them. So, I mean, people who are critical here need to pick their poison. They need to pick which way they're going to go. Can't be telling me that Brock Purdy doesn't have arm strength when he's actually overheating some of these passes downfield. I think that it's a matter of touch for Brock Purdy on some of the deeper shots that he missed. And let's make sure that we talk about the fact that the last deep shot that he took, he actually hit with perfect touch to Juwan Jennings down the sideline, 31 yards, back shoulder throw, well done. So Purdy actually made the improvements and the necessary adjustments over the course of that game against the Rams to go from missing the 20-plus yarders to actually hitting on the 31-yarder to Juwan Jennings late. I would just let this play out over the long run. I think that Brock Purdy has shown historic accuracy on intermediate throws from 10 to 20 yards. And since it's very clear he's got the arm strength to get the ball downfield on throws further than that, I think that he'll develop more comfort and he'll start hitting the throws that he needs to downfield. Now remember, throws of 20 plus yards in the NFL, a completion rate of 35% is good relative to other NFL quarterbacks on those. You're not going to hit most of the throws that travel that far in the air. I think some people expect this to be a video game where QBs are going to be hitting 100% of their passes deep, like rookie mode on Madden. It's not going to be that. You take calculated shots downfield and you might hit 30% of them, but to expect more than that is absolutely unreasonable. Yesterday, Purdy was on the lower end of the completion percentage spectrum, but he did hit a longer shot. And as time goes by, I would think that he's going to hit more. We shouldn't be focused on the 3 misses, though. We should be focused on the fact that he played another turnover-free game, led the 49ers to another win. They are now 2-0 in this 2023 season. So, talk a little bit more. Kind of duck through here. When you're 6'5", you have some of those issues where you hit some of the trees on the sidewalk here in Truckee. Moving on, though, to another player who people are worried a little bit too much about right now, Nick Bosa. And the guy obviously held out. So he didn't have the preseason, he didn't have training camp. I know he hasn't played in the preseason before, but hadn't really built up the football callus and the football shape. And he still was the 49ers' highest graded defender against Pittsburgh. Despite that, and despite the fact that he's the reigning defensive player of the year and he's getting chipped, double teamed, I mean, they're really focusing on Nick Bosa. Yesterday, the Rams went to a quick game. We saw the drawback of that quick game, and it ended up working in the 49ers' favor, but they were so dead set on not being hurt by the 49ers' pass rush that they relied on nickel and diming, chipping their way downfield with Matthew Stafford. Now, that's a strategy that requires perfect execution over and over again. It requires an offense to string together, 15 play drives of perfection multiple times in order to win a football game. And ultimately, Stafford, even though he was damn good for much of the game, ultimately he couldn't string together that perfection forever. And what happened is that probability caught up to the Rams. And when probability caught up to the Rams, then Kyren Williams dropped a pass, turned into an Isaiah Oliver interception, and then the Rams got behind the game, behind the sticks, and the 49ers pass rush was able to pin its ears back, and ultimately the 49ers pass rush won out. And that's when Nick Bosa finally had a chance to pin his ears back. He beat Rob Havenstein with a nice swim move there toward the end of the game, got his first quarterback hit of the season. The sacks are going to come for Nick Bosa. It's so important to understand game flow, though, and understand how opponents are playing the 49ers and understanding the context of where Nick Bosa's at. He held out. That's just the way that it is. 49ers got him paid. Nick Bosa's happy. 49ers are happy about that, but he's got to work into full game shape, and the 49ers pass rush has to be positioned in a way to where it can pin its ears back and get after the quarterback. Stop the run so you can have some fun. That's what Arden Key said. Former 49er Arden Key. You have to stop the run, and by extension, you have to stop the short passing game, which the 49ers, it took them a little while to do yesterday. It took them a while to stop what they needed to do, which is the run, with those run blitzes, and stop those short passes so they can have some fun in the second half. And then Bosa, you could tell he was getting there. He was getting really, really close to notching his first sack, and it's probably going to come on Thursday. And if it doesn't come on Thursday, it'll come the week after that. Then they'll start coming in droves. There's a reason they come in droves. It's because you set your pass rush up to have success. Yesterday, the Rams did everything they could to make the 49ers pass rush not have success on the stat sheet. But the Rams still paid for it because they went with an unsustainable offensive strategy. So this worry about Brock Purdy and a very small sample of plays in a sea of much better ones and inefficient performance is just not very smart. And this worry about Nick Bosa also lacks a lot of context. Both prominent players on offense and defense for the 49ers. People should not be up in arms over how they played, because the 49ers are 2-0 behind good play from both Purdy and Bosa. That's the bottom line. Good, efficient play from both of these guys. And your big numbers, if that's what you're in this for, those will come, but that's not what's actually important to the 49ers. It's complementary football, finding a way for offense and defense to balance each other out, adding some special teams into the mix, and going from there. Finally, I just talking 3 little bullet points from this game. Isaiah Oliver. We talk about the importance of not worrying too much about individual players, letting the larger sample play out. Well, this is on brand. This is on theme. Isaiah Oliver is a player that a lot of people just wrote off. They didn't really trust the 49ers' plan of integrating this free agent into their system. He's coming from a different system in Atlanta, but they saw him on tape. He was a missile near the line of scrimmage. He's a physical player for the Falcons. They thought maybe this guy can really contribute for us. And looks like the 49ers were right. Despite the fact that Oliver wasn't maybe the perfect fit for shifty slot coverage, he was a missile out there yesterday. First a tackle on Kyren Williams in the flat, changed the momentum of this game. Then the interception, real good awareness to be able to catch the deflection off Kyren Williams' hands, really changed the momentum of this game if the play before didn't. And then the 4th down run pressure, the blitz, that sealed this game. And that's what Isaiah Oliver did in Atlanta. He was near that line of scrimmage, glorified nickelback, linebacker, whatever you want to call him. He was able to knife through the line when slot receivers were assigned to block him. He was able to get a head start, use his smarts on the play, and use his athleticism relative to a standard linebacker, since he's more of a big nickel kind of player. And he was able to get into the backfield. And yesterday on that 4th down, he got into the backfield for a big-time run stop, and that was after an open field play and after an interception. So Isaiah Oliver, 49ers signed him to significant money, not huge money, but significant money, because they thought he could be a good missing piece on this defense. And yesterday was the Isaiah Oliver game. He proved that was the case. So Brock Purdy, Nick Bosa, Isaiah Oliver, they're all related. There are 3 players who I think people have had prematurely off takes on so far this year. And those premature takes either haven't aged well or won't age well. It's important to let this sit back and develop. And the 49ers are doing just that. That's why they're 2-0 right now. Thursday Night Football coming up against the Giants at Levi Stadium.